I think if
Therefore
I stay
I
awake,
am.
if we start in the next 30 seconds and I stay awake, I think I can start this coherently.
Okay, you ready?
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Tom.
And this is the Park Bench, and we're actually in a park again.
Yes, we are. There are still baby birds around. This time I have promised Matt that I'm not going to get distracted and suddenly point my camera at them.
He's gonna fail. And today's topic is food in London, because we are humans, which means we eat. And we live in London, so combining those, we eat in London.
Today in suspiciously specific denials. Hello, fellow human. I also enjoy the food.
I promise I'm human. Anyway, this is kind of a wide-ranging topic, but we both eat some wide-ranging array of foods. Oh, I'm turning this into a one-show segment. Should we categorise it?
Yes.
And I think we should start with junky, unhealthy, starchy food.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, are we recommending to tourists here? If you are coming to London, this is a place, or are we recommending to locals that these are places you might want to try? Or should we do both?
Let's classify as we come up with them.
All right.
Because I'll be honest, I haven't done much preparation, and I've mainly got Foursquare open on my phone.
Yeah, both of us, it turns out, use an app called Foursquare, which is like Yelp if Yelp were less popular.
It partners up with the partner app called Swarm, which used to be part of the same thing, so you can check in places. Don't request us as friends on there, because it says where we are. We will deny you. Just don't.
That's just But what it does give me is a history of places I've been and liked.
And liked, because you can like the places you've been.
Yes.
So junky, I'm going to go straight in at something really obvious for Americans, but not necessarily quite obvious for non-Americans yet, even though they're spreading.
Yep.
Five Guys.
Oh, really?
They're my favourite fast food burger. I'm not saying this is amazing, but as fast food burgers go...
I'm not sold on them. But there are better places in London for that.
Go on then.
Okay, Meat Market and the Meat X chain.
Yes.
Meat Market, Meat Mission, Meat Liquor.
Yes, that is better.
They are, however, the type of burger, and I know we have arguments about this, where there is so much stuff in it and so much sauce, it is a very wet experience.
It is a moist burger.
Now, we have argued about this before, because you prefer food to be crispy, and I suspect that most food would be better if you put some gravy on
it. Yes, I'd say Meat Market is one of my favourite burger places in
And it's right
London.
next to Covent Garden, so if you're a tourist and in, it's worth going to.
And it's in the old Covent Garden Market.
Oh, there's a bit of history there, isn't there?
They've kind of covered up the history with branding. It used to be the plastic slatted things that you could wibble out of the way and look through into the market, but now it's windows with branding on them.
It's branding. But the whole chain is very good as far as I can tell, or at least I'm always wary of recommending this, because a place like this, because it suits my tastes. It's what I like.
It's not, amazing food. It's a burger, and it's a good burger. It's made with real meat, and it tastes like actual food. And
I don't have a particularly adventurous palate, so I'm good with that.
They do alcoholic milkshakes as well, if you're into that kind of thing.
So that's the burger recommendation. I'm going to move down, because we've got a specific thing here. Let's talk about curry.
Okay, that fits into stodgy.
Yes, it does. And it also fits into British food, really.
Okay.
I was going to suggest dishoom.
Yes.
I have heard... it is not authentic by any means.
And I wouldn't say it was anything like generic British curry house either.
No, although to be fair, and I'll link this in the description, there is an excellent long read article about the death of the British curry house.
Okay.
For those who don't know, for those who are not in the UK, through the 70s, 80s, 90s, the traditional British curry came from the takeaway in whichever town you were in.
Yeah.
But a combination of ready meals, you can now just buy one from the supermarket, change in immigration policy, change in what the next generation of immigrants want to do, and change in economics and palates mean that they're steadily dying out.
Oh, really?
And what you're getting is places like Dishoom, which have kind of taken it up. It's still Anglo-Indian food,
yeah,
but it's kind of taken up a notch, and it's not just one sauce with different stuff mixed into it.
A thing to be aware of with Dishoom, it is a bit pricier.
It is.
Than a normal curry place, but it's It's an experience as well.
The queues are out the door for about 90 minutes at peak time.
And the design inside the one I've been in is a bit colonial, which is...
Yeah, it's meant to be a Bombay cafe in the 1920s. Bombay, not Mumbai, I noticed they're pointing out. And it's just, is that awkward? I have no idea if that's awkward.
that bit of colonialism that just makes you clench ever so slightly.
There's a couple of jokes. Can I use the phrase colonial clenching? I don't know. But I just did.
Colonial clenching.
Oh, dear.
Okay, carrying on. If you've said all you can say about
Yeah, should we continue touring the world?
I've got another stodge.
Yep.
Which is somewhere else in the world. Mm-hmm. Boudin's.
Oh, yes. But Boudin's is, I think, the closest you can get in Britain to proper American barbecue. Which is a bit like saying that there's somewhere that does Mexican food in London. There might be. It's not going to be a patch on anywhere that actually does Mexican food.
Yeah.
But I think Boudin's is probably the closest you can get.
And it's the kind of American barbecue food which is a slow cooked bit of animal which is now very, very wet and very, very stringy in a breaking apart kind of way, and all the barbecue sauces, and it's served just on a slab of tray with chips.
You know, I had a brief flirtation with going vegetarian recently, and Boudin's was one of the reasons why. Because it's lovely.
You just had too much meat.
At some point, I looked at that and got, that is a lot of a thing that used to be alive, and that's weird. And that was one of the things that maybe I should try this. Maybe I should do it. And then I stuck with it for a month, and then my body went, you're not getting enough protein, and the options were either go back to eating meat, or I'll have an enormous amount of hassle, and it turns out I don't care about animals enough. So I am fundamentally a bad person, and I apologise.
And your palate isn't adventurous enough for...
I just can't get tofu. I just do not understand it. It's just not... I know there are going to be vegetarians in the comments going, all you need to do is this, this and this.
Yeah.
But...
I'd say I eat veggie half the time when I'm cooking at home.
All the time. I don't actually buy meat to cook at home. Partly because I live in a tiny flat and you can't get the smell of cooking meat or barbecuing meat out of the place. But it's also cheaper and nicer.
Seeing as we're talking about vegetarianism, I will suggest Mildreds.
Oh, yes.
I realised the other day there are two of them.
There are.
At least two of them.
Now, I have heard people have very strong opinions on Mildreds.
Oh, really?
I like it. It has some excellent vegetarian food for not unreasonable prices for London. But I've also heard someone say they dislike it for reasons that the food isn't adventurous or interesting enough. It just didn't taste good. So I'm wary that people who are actual vegetarians may have better options here. But for me, going into
really good.
Yeah, for me going in as a meat eater into a friend's birthday party, it was really nice.
I've been there with vegetarians who enjoy the menu.
Yeah.
Because it's not a nut roast.
The
one something to be aware of, the one that I've been to is in Soho. It is tiny and you will need to wait for a table. Yes. I don't think you're allowed to book either, but they've got a bar and you can get cocktails. My favourite thing on the menu there is a deep fried risotto cake.
That's like arancini, isn't it?
Yes, but crispy. And it's served in a creamy sauce, so if you eat it slowly, then you can get the soggy you want, and it's soggy and cheesy inside. Oh.
So London's had an influx of ramen places in the last few years. London has food fads, essentially. About 5 to 10 years ago, burrito joints started to open. And about 3 to 5 years ago, it was ramen places.
Okay.
And I stand by tonkatsu as being one of the best.
Oh, I've seen a few friends have been there quite a bit.
Yeah. I know a friend of ours has very strong opinions on ramen. Tonkatsu seems to be accessible and very good.
Cool. Is that near Shaftesbury Avenue?
Yeah, there's several actually. There's one out east near Haggerston, and there's one in Soho. But it's not ludicrously expensive like Shoreyu is, and it's not bad.
Okay, cool. While we're at that end of the world, in Chinatown there is Tokyo Diner.
Oh yes, I've forgotten that.
Which sells Japanese food.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good, really fresh tasting.
Yeah. Taro nearby is also very good.
Oh, is it
there are 2 branches in Soho, and it's my go-to for. I mean, when they're making the sushi fresh in front, you can see it in the open kitchen. It's pretty good.
Cool. There's a Chinese restaurant around the corner that sells not generic British Chinese takeaway Chinese food that I like, but I don't know the name of. I will look that up now while you talk about something else.
Well, I think there's a lot of places in Soho for tourists, and the trouble is that inevitably tourists will go round, and then they will end up in an Aberdeen Angus Steakhouse.
No, that is purely put there to catch the tourist. You only find them in Leicester Square, Piccadilly Circus, and that kind of tourist place.
Yep, they charge ludicrous amounts, and if you look at the reviews, because every couple of years, one of the major newspapers will realise that they can send their food critic into an Angus Steakhouse and get a really vicious, bitter... One point, I think the Guardian sent in not only their food critic, but also the guy who runs Hawksmoor, which is arguably the best steakhouse in London, into Angus Steakhouse. And as I recall, they didn't even get 2 bites into it.
Whoa.
It was just this excoriating series of insults directed at the place, followed by the guy who runs the Hawksmoor going, all right, let's go, I'll just take you over, I'll give you a proper steak. And it was.
Wow.
If there was one advice I could give tourists, it is never going to anything with steakhouse in neon letters on the outside in a tourist area. Don't do it. Don't do it.
We've recommended the Hawksmoor before on our things for tourists to do in London.
Good. Yes, we have.
If you want a very expensive steak but a very nice steak,
yes,
then that's the place to go.
Locals, keep an eye out for when they open a new one. If you're lucky in the lottery, you can get a table for their 50% off soft opening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every time they open a new one, there's about a 2-3 week period where they're bedding everything in, and it's half off all food. But essentially, they just put the thing up saying, when would you like a table? And it's like, good luck.
Huh.
That is how I've eaten at Hawksmoor a couple of times, because I have quite lucky friends.
Yeah.
I'm starting to run through these now. Oh,
I found the name. I
right.
don't know how to pronounce it because it's...
Bowsy.
Bowsy Inn is how I'm going to say it. It's Baozi Inn.
I'll put the names on the bottom of the screen.
It's in Chinatown. It's sold Chinese food that wasn't like Chinese takeaway food. I liked it.
All right. We're going to have a full argument about a place called Dip and Flip.
Never heard of it.
It does French dip sandwiches.
Oh,
there's one in
God.
Clapham Junction.
So that's where you get a sandwich and then drown it.
Yeah. It's not as good as Philippe's in LA, which is the place that is meant to have invented it. But it's still good. And as someone who likes sandwiches that have gravy on them, I'm good. I'm good.
Sorry, I'm going to just point out that it's suggesting this. We're not going to say it out loud because it wasn't very good, but I like that it's in your list.
Why the hell is that in my list? That is not meant to have a like on it. Did I hit the wrong button? Good, that's their rating dropped a couple of notches. Good, carry on. I am starting to run out of places now. I think we've run through pretty much everything. We haven't recommended a single pizza place yet.
You go first?
Union or Mod.
Yeah, I was going to say Mod or the other one that I couldn't remember the name of.
Union is at Caledonian Road. But so I couldn't believe this, that a pizza place had opened in Leicester. None of these are sponsored, by the way. If this wasn't obvious, we have not received any sponsorship for anything here.
We're just going through things we like.
I could not believe that not only had a pizza place opened in Leicester Square that was reasonably priced, but it was also good.
It's taking the Subway way of doing sandwiches, but for pizza.
Yeah.
So you pick your base, and then you go down the counter and
that's.
You said you weren't going to get distracted.
They're adorable. Look at that. That's lovely. Okay, so what you basically should learn there is don't trust me where baby ducks are involved. Sorry, Subway has approached pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, and you pick your toppings. You chuck them on and they cook it, and it's one price for all, I think.
This seems like such a blindingly obvious idea that I cannot believe it didn't happen. I saw it when I was in LA a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is obvious. How has no one done this before? To Britain, this is a new concept. Union Pizza is not quite pick your own exact toppings, but it's still incredibly fast, cheap pizza near King's Cross. That's very much worth it.
Cool.
There's a helicopter there.
Yep. I had another looking for it. Shall we wait for the helicopter?
No, I'm going to just try and talk over the helicopter, because why not? Because
you're underneath it.
Yeah, because I realised there was one thing I was going to... for God's sake. There was one thing I forgot to mention.
Seconds.
And I don't know which one to recommend, because there's several of them.
Yeah.
I don't have a bar for quality on this. All I know is the one I went to was nice.
Okay.
One of the advantages of living in London is that there is every cuisine in the world here, pretty much. And you can get Eritrean and Ethiopian food, and it is lovely. It's a series of stews and curries that get served on a flatbread, and you pick up some of the flatbread and you take some of the stew and you put it in your mouth, and it's lovely. If you want to go as a group, it's brilliant. I'm not going to recommend a specific one. I'll probably put a couple possible names up.
Yeah.
Because it's been years since I've been to one.
Okay.
But if you want to try something that is different and also very, very nice, I thoroughly recommend trying Eritrean food.
Cool, I will do. I've heard other people say good things about it as well.
Does
it have really airy, bready stuff?
Yes. Traditionally, it should be made with teff flour, which is gluten-free, but that's really, really difficult to get in Britain, so I think they use something else. But you can get it with rice if you're gluten-free anyway. It's lovely. I might be misremembering my history here, but I think it's because it has a strong Italian influence from the colonial days again. Okay. And so it was the sauces and things like that.
Cool. Yeah. And we mentioned burritos. We hadn't said a burrito.
Yeah, I'm not referencing burritos because burritos are an emotional subject. I discovered this in San Francisco. Every single conversation in San Francisco I had with people there was like, "Oh, have you had a burrito yet? Oh, where did you go?" And it turns out I'm not a fan of the San Francisco burrito. It's too lardy. It's too big. But burritos are an emotional subject, so I'm not going to recommend a particular chain. Oh dear. Sorry.
That's the thing. Everyone that eats burritos seems to have a massive opinion on it.
Yep.
The ones I prefer are Benito's hat, but
Yes.
I've never been to Mexico.
Or as you pronounce it,
Benito Shat. Just move the space.
Yeah. And these are not Mexican burritos. These are This is a anglicised version of a Californicized version of a Tex-Mex burrito. So, yeah.
You can't call it Mexican at all, and it's just using a very broad term in the same way that pizza can mean very different things.
Every culture has a sandwich.
Yes.
Every culture has, here is a bready starch that we've put some stuff on or in. It's the most basic food stuff.
Yeah. And everyone has opinions about it.
Please share your burrito opinions, Bill, or don't share your burrito opinions. Please don't.
For more burrito opinions, hit the subscribe button.
Seriously, I swear someone had a website for a while that was like London Review of Burritos.
I bet it does. Now, are there any other food categories we haven't done? Healthy? Salady?
I mean, we did vegetarian, but deep fried risotto ball.
Yeah, that's not exactly...
Let's be honest, we're not recommending healthy food here. If you want that, you go to a Pret or something and get a salad.
They're about... Yeah, it's all chain places I can think of.
Yeah.
I will recommend one final thing.
Good grief. We haven't done dessert, but carry on.
Oh, okay, before we get to dessert.
Yep.
And it is a thing that I doubt has ever been recommended out loud before, because it's just a caff.
Right.
That people go to in their lunch break.
Yep.
To pick up a thing and then they go and eat it at the desk.
Yep.
It's on St Martin's Lane.
Are you about to recommend your lunch cafe? Because people will try and meet you there.
No, I don't go there very regularly.
Okay.
I try to vary what I have for
All right.
This is a place called Fernando's.
Yep.
And it serves the biggest jacket potatoes I have ever seen in my life. This place goes for massive portions of either sort of Italian, well, sort of pastry food, and then they have sandwiches and stuff. But can you hold the mic a second, please?
Yes, I can.
That big jacket potatoes in
Move your hands closer to the camera, they'll look bigger.
That. And then it's in one of those openy boxy things.
Yep.
And the entire thing fills the whole thing, so then it doesn't close properly for about a £5.
If you would like that much for lunch,
I don't need dinner if I've ever eaten that. That's why I don't go there too often.
Yeah, fair.
Dessert, you say?
Yes, I'm sure I was going to recommend something else.
You have ice cream opinions.
I have ice cream opinions. I'm trying to eat less sugar lately, so I've not been going there as much. But I have strong opinions on ice cream, and I think the best ice cream in London is from a place called La Gelateria on New Row near Covent Garden. Try the dark chocolate and chili one. Possibly don't order an entire thing of that.
They do the dark chocolate and chili as ice cream or sorbet.
Yeah.
It is the creamiest sorbet I have ever had.
Depending on what's on the day.
Yeah. It varies based on
I
what
once
they
had a
fancy making.
balsamic vinegar ice cream there. That was incredibly good.
I had a basil one. I think it was a basil sorbet, but their sorbets are creamy. It's like ice cream.
I once took a friend there, and he, not realising that they had a savoury mushroom, like porcini one.
Okay.
And he just kind of, I'll try that. And he took a little thing off the no, and walked out. He's not having that. He's not having savoury ice cream.
Walks out.
Yeah, I cannot have ice cream now. You have ruined ice cream for me for today.
I have never heard of anyone rage quitting an ice cream shop.
I'd recommend going. They also have more conventional flavours and they're lovely. Never go to a liquid nitrogen ice cream bar. There's a couple in London now.
Oh, are there?
They're terrible. You can't taste the ice cream before you have it because it's not ice cream until you order it.
Yeah.
And the consistency doesn't work. It's either too cold that you can't taste it or it's melted.
Huh.
But yeah, those are my ice cream opinions.
Any other desserts?
You don't go to a place for desserts, though, do you? You don't. I mean,
Well,
I
we
know
don't
that's a
anyway.
thing. That's a thing in some areas. Like some cultures have a separate restaurant you go to for dessert. It's not really a thing.
No.
I think that's it. I think we've recommended a load of places there. I think we have done our job, and now we have to see if anyone's going to go there.
Not that we're going to be able to find out. We're not watching you. We haven't got a camera in each of these places.
Yet.
Dun dun dun. So there you go. That's the end of this video.
I cut it off after yet.
Good.